Hello everyone from first grade Great Oaks Legacy Charter School. This week for trimester 3 week 1 remote learning, we are going to be learning regrouping and subtraction. Before we left for school, we learned about regrouping and addition, where we used the place value chart and we did it without using it. This week we're going to be using the place value chart, and this time we're going to be subtracting. So that is what we're working on this entire week. Now, let's take a look at this BrainPop video together. You can also watch this BrainPop video at home. Everyone will be able to get access to this. So whenever you subtract, we know that the bigger number always comes first. In this case, 14 is the bigger number, and it is subtracting 14 minus 5. When you are subtracting or adding, you always look at the ones place first. It is a golden rule in math. Whenever you're adding or subtracting, you always look at the ones place first. So the numbers in the ones place is 4 and 5. Let's see what is the problem in this situation. So Annie is trying to subtract 4 minus 5. We know that we can't do that because we cannot take away 5 from 4. So that means Annie needs to think of a way to figure out how to do this. Let's see what she does. Whenever you don't have enough to subtract, we are regrouping in subtraction. Let's see what Annie does in order to regroup with subtraction. This is the same thing that we did in addition and regrouping. We know that 10 ones cubed is equal to 1 10 stick. And we know that 1 10 stick is equal to 10 ones cubed. They're both equal to the same thing, so that means we can borrow from the tens place to make 10 ones cubed. Because Annie did not have enough to take away 5 from 4, she borrowed 1 10 stick from the tens place and brought it over to the ones place and changed it into 10 ones cubed. So that way there's enough to take away 5. This is the same thing. 45 minus 8. Remember, when you're subtracting or when you're adding, you always look at the ones place first. Let's see what Annie does. We know that 5 is a smaller number than 8, so we cannot take away 8 from 5. That means we need to regroup. When we regroup, remember, you borrow from the tens place to give the 10 stick to the ones place and make 10 ones cubed. Now we have enough to take away 8 ones cubed from the ones place. So I'm going to stop the video right there. So we saw Annie show us how we need to regroup in subtraction. So we know that regrouping means we change 1 10 stick into 10 ones cube. Or you can do the opposite. You could take 10 ones cube and change it into 1 10 stick. We regroup when there is not enough in the ones place. So today, for our problem in subtracting and regrouping, we're only going to figure out if we need to regroup or not. We're not going to solve to find the answer. We're just deciding if we need to regroup or if we do not need to regroup. So let's take a look at our very first question. We have over here 19 minus 7 equals blank. So remember, it says don't solve because we're not going to solve today. We're just going to figure out if we need to regroup or not. So let's take a look at our problem. So we have 19 minus 7. First thing that I want to do is I want to write my numbers nice and neat in my place value chart. So I have my first number 19. So I'm going to write 19. Sorry if it doesn't look that nice and neat. So I have 19 minus, my minus sign is already there, 7. I gotta think, does the 7 go in the tens place or in the ones place? I see that 7 is all by itself, so the 7 goes in the ones place. So I'm gonna put it right underneath the 9. And then I have to draw a line straight in the middle. Remember what Miss Lim told you, always draw that line in the middle to make sure it's nice and neat. So now I have my numbers, 19 minus 7. When we subtract, we're only drawing the first big number in our place value chart for our base 10 symbols. So my bigger number is 19. So I'm going to draw my base 10 symbols for the number 19. I see there's 1 in the tens place, so I'm going to draw 1 10 stick just like this. I'm not going to draw a box because that's going to take way too long for me. Remember, I want to make sure to show my work the most efficient way, the most fastest way for me to show my work. So I draw 1 10 stick because there's 1 in the tens place. And in the ones place, there's a number 9. So I'm going to draw 9 circles to represent my 9 ones cube. So I have 1, sorry again if it's not neat, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I drew my 9's ones cube. Again, I'm so sorry it's not neat. So I tried my best to draw my 9's ones cube. Now I gotta see what my second number is. My second number is 7. Now I am not going to draw 7 more ones cube. I need to take away 7 ones cube because over here I see a minus sign in my problem. When I see a minus sign, that means I want to take away. So that means I'm going to take away 7 ones cube. Let me see if I have enough to take away 7 ones cube. Let's see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have enough to take away, so let me take away now. So I'm going to take away 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That means I'm left with just 2. I'm going to circle my remainder 2. If I'm able to take away in the ones place and I did not borrow from the tens place, that means I did not regroup because I had enough, so that means I did not need to regroup. So I circled no. Remember, I'm not solving it today because we just want to figure out if we need to regroup or not. So my answer was no. Now let's take a look at our next problem. 23 minus 8. I have my problem 23 minus 8. First thing that I want to do is I got to write my number inside the place value chart. So I'm going to write 23 sorry guys. And then I got to write my number 8. Now I got to think about it. Does the 8 go in the tens place or does it go in the ones place? The 8 is all by itself, so that means it goes in the ones place. So I'm going to draw my number 8 under the 3 in the ones place. And then I'm going to draw my line in the middle to make sure it's nice and neat. Remember, when you show your work, make sure it looks a lot neater than the way I drew it. Now, I need to draw my base 10 symbol. So, when I draw my base 10 symbol, I'm only drawing the bigger number. In this case, my bigger number is 23. So, I'm going to draw my number 23 in the place value chart. So, in the number 23, there are 2 in the tens place. So, I'm going to draw 2 10 sticks, just like this. There's 3 in the ones place, so I'm going to draw 3 ones cube. 1, 2, and 3. Now, my second number is 8. When I have the number 8, I'm not going to add 8 more ones cube. I'm going to take away 8 ones cube because there is a minus sign. Remember, when you see a minus sign, you got to remember that you need to take away because there's a minus sign right here. So, I'm going to see if I could take away 8. I'm taking a look at my work. I have 1, 2, 3. That means I don't have enough. If I don't have enough to take away, that means I need to regroup. So I circled yes because I need to regroup because I don't have enough in the ones place. So I need to borrow from the tens place. I'm going to cross out my 10 stick. I am going to draw an arrow to the ones place because I'm going to give this 10 stick away. And now I'm going to draw 10 ones cube. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Remember, I borrowed a 10 stick from the tens place and I gave it to the ones place to use. So now I drew 10 ones cube. Now that I have enough, now I'm going to take away 8, just like my problem says, because it says minus 8. So I'm going to take away 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means I'm only left with these remainder that I circled. So for this problem, I had to regroup because I did not have enough in the ones place first, so I had to borrow from the tens place to get a 10 stick to make 10 ones cube. So for this problem, I regrouped. So remember, when you need to regroup, you can only regroup when you do not have enough to take away. Just like the problem that we saw before, 23 minus 8, we could not take away 8 from 3. So we had to borrow a 10 stick. We crossed it out. we drew an arrow and we made 10 ones cubed to make sure that we had enough to take away 8. And we circled yes to regrouping because we need to make enough to take away 8. This is a little bit tricky, but remember, today, for the first day, you're not solving it. We don't want to find the answer. We just want to figure out if we need to regroup or not. So now it's your turn to practice. You're going to take out your packet that has all your subjects, and you're going to practice figuring out if you need to regroup or not. And remember, if you have any questions, to always let your teachers know and feel free to reach out. All right, good luck, guys.